blogging, not just for millennials. So I found some really fun blogs from different realtors where they essentially talked about the importance of blogging and what it was for them. I'm not affiliated with any of these realtors. I just came across them when I was doing a Google search. And with that, I thought that they had some interesting quotes as well as showed a pretty interesting variety of different topics that they talked about. Now, the reason why I wanted to talk about blogging is because I think it's one of the realtors' uh, greatest tools when it comes to delivering success in SEO. And I think it's one of the most underutilized ones. When we talk about blogging, it's basically a free invitation for you to go ahead and say, here's content. I can make it text heavy. I can focus on any keywords I want. And I get the opportunity to put my voice out there. And when you put your voice out there um, enough times, with enough consistency, with enough persistence, and in a good enough way, eventually people will listen. And when I say in a good enough way, on one aspect, of course, we're talking about making sure that you're putting good quality content out there. But again, going back to the making sure that our data structure is set up properly, we want to make sure that Google knows you're putting out good quality content by ensuring that you're putting all that information there so Google knows what to look for when it reads your page. So for um, Ellen Pitts of Harmony Realty, she talks about blogging as a way of essentially trying to establish herself as an expert in the area and making sure that she can provide information about her area. Well, guess what? When people are looking for that type of information within her local area, there's a higher likelihood that her website is going to come up because of the fact that she's doing consistent blogging. And what I thought was really neat was that you see a lot of different varieties in here. So some of them talk about family-friendly breweries, senior housing, home staging, the 5 best bakeries. Again, some of it's real estate related, some of it's just talking about the neighborhood. And as local area experts, you're going to be the go-to person. You're going to know the best food spots or the most exciting things to do on the weekend, or which areas have the best schools and which areas have the best football teams, and all of these different pieces of information where you're not going to have as much competition. You don't have to worry about necessarily competing with these big sites like Zillow and Realtor.com because you're focusing on your local area. And that's something which they may not have the interest or the time to really delve into deeply or to care a lot about, but the people that are looking to buy or sell a home in your area, they do care a lot about that. And they do care a lot about making sure that you are a local expert. You know what you're talking about when you're talking about that area. And with that, on one hand, it's going to make it easier for your site to show up. It's going to make it so you're going to get more eyes on your page. But also, when they go ahead and see that content, it's going to double as just another way to show your expertise in that area. And another note with that, one of the fun things that you can do, let's say, for example, you're talking about family-friendly breweries or the 5 best bakeries in the area. Well, you can go ahead and talk to those people. You can say, hey, I'm a realtor in this area. I do a regular blog. I get lots of people checking it out. Want to let you know I featured you guys in my blog post, um, just so you know. And what oftentimes will happen with that is that everyone's happy to get any matter of, uh, you know, free press. And with that, they'll go ahead and say, hey, guess what? We were just featured as the #1 bakery in this area. Well, with that, when they go ahead and provide a link to your site, that will go ahead and help your SEO. So you want to make sure that you're keeping that as one of your strategies, making sure you're talking about these local businesses, talking about these places around the area. And effectively, what that's going to do is make sure you're not only establishing yourself as a local expert, you're not only building relationships and making your name out there known and having that free publicity on the other side by having them share your website, but you're also helping your SEO benefits so that way when other people who are not even connected to that process begin searching, your website is going to be even higher. So for this next one, the Jeff Nelson of Live Gulf Shores Local, you can see just another different variety of the types of uh, blogs that he posts. And again, you can see that it's completely different from the previous one, completely different style, completely different tone. Uh, Ultimately, you want to make sure that the blog matches what you know, what you want to talk about. And frankly speaking, when Jeff's talking about the reason why he blogs and how it's to, uh, give him the upper leg or to help him out in competing in such a competitive industry, he's blogging 4 to 5 times a week, or at least that's what he's going for. From that perspective, if you're going to talk 4 to 5 times a week about something, you want it probably to be something that you're really familiar with, that you're really comfortable with, and frankly speaking, also something that you're really enjoying to talk, you really enjoy talking about. Uh, it's going to show. It's going to be very transparent if you're talking about something you have no interest in. It's going to seem flat. It's going to be stale, and with that, you want to go ahead and try and find a way to, um, blend what it is that you do and what it is you're passionate about in terms of your career life as a realtor. But also, I recommend trying to find ways to mix in your hobbies as well. I've seen some really great success with real estate agents talking about different places they like to go for hikes and for climbing and for taking their dog out for runs and things like that, and showcasing photos that they've taken and so on and so forth, which again has all the benefits that I talked about as well previously, but adds a human side and allows the leads coming in to feel more connected, to have that connection to where they feel that, okay, now I'm getting connected with this individual as a person, not just, another realtor wearing a suit in a sea of realtors who, uh, from surface value, I can't distinguish one from the other. But when you start to attach that information, when they see that you're talking and talking and talking, there's so much information out there about you that you're very open and public, then they feel more at ease in terms of being able to connect with you. And then at that point, you're one step closer to earning their business. For Alex Beauregard of Toronto Realtor with Freeman Real Estate, he talks about, again, looking at blogging as a way to establish himself amongst the competition. And again, you can see that there's a different variety in the content. Um, what I recommend is, in the event that you're trying to figure out where to get started with a blog, and in the event that you're not sure as to, what kind of content uh, you can do, uh, take a look at what other realtors are doing. More often than not, what they're talking about is something which you can take those sort of general themes and provide your own take on it. And it's perfectly okay to do so because the specifics on that information are all going to vary area by area. And that's something which, really is what's going to bring you the most success. And that's by making sure that your content is hyper local, it's super targeted, that the people reading it really feel like you're not just trying to be general and do kind of broad swaths of trying to get the most people as possible. They want to feel like you're talking to them. They want it to feel personal. They want to feel that connection, as I talked about, and making sure you include local details. Talk about landmarks that are local. Talk about things which you'd only know if you grew up in that area. All these different things, that's going to help so much in terms of making your blog successful. Coming up with content. So I'm a huge fan of Dale Carnegie. And in his book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, he has this really colorful analogy of when he went when he went fishing rather, he tried to feed the fish strawberries and cream because that's his favorite food. And he didn't get great results. But when he tried, instead of looking for his favorite food, he tried giving the fish their favorite food, he got all the fish that he wanted. Um, with that said, when you're thinking about this, when you're thinking about the approach for blogging, it's not in your best interest to say, all right, I've just found myself a way so I can get free leads. Awesome. This is how I'm going to go ahead and beat out all my competition. With that said, you're coming from the perspective of focusing on what you want instead of focusing on giving the people what they want. Put the focus as to what you can do to give your audience what they want, and then your audience will come and give you all of those things that you're looking for and all those things that are beneficial and helpful and exciting and that we think about as the upside when we're going and talking about why we should go ahead and focus on SEO. Relevancy to your audience and consistency in putting out content, those are key to having success with an SEO content strategy.